You haven't done any John Oliver thing in a while.
I have not.
And then so last week I said, somebody doing the Beverly Hillbillies. And today I just put John Oliver.
So I'm going to give this a go. I don't know how well it's going to go. But it's Beverly Hillbillies as done by John Oliver. It's the request line open. And on Carnival Personnel. So here you go. John Oliver singing the Beverly Hillbillies. Enjoy. Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed. A poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food when up through the ground come a bubbling crude. Oil, that is. Black gold. Texas tea. Not as good as British tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kin folks said, Jed, move away from there. He said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pools, homeless people. Well, now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. And they would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. I don't like the term hillbillies. Now let me tell you about the problem with the oil manufacturers who took advantage of a poor mountaineer named Jed. He was undercut by at least 20% on that oil when he sold it. And now that land that he owns, that he sold, is worth 10 times more than when he sold it for. Finally tonight.
And now, on with the show.
Hey, Biff, did you hear about the invisible man who went to see his doctor?
No. Wow. What happened to the invisible man who went to see his doctor, Jacques?
He's still waiting to be seen.
Yeah.
All right, this is gold. This is great. Hey, Biff, why are pirates called pirates?
Why are pirates called pirates? Is this some kind of R thing?
They just are.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Carnival Personnel. I'm Jacques.
Yeah, this is Biff.
This is Joe. Hi, welcome, everybody.
It's great.
Why are we here?
Why
are
what?
we here?
Existentially, we want to have that philosophical. I almost said that word right.
Yeah, thank God we didn't, because now we know you're not AI. You're the real deal, Holyfield.
I mean, had I said that word correctly, yes, I would have either been AI, and then we would have to stop the podcast.
You said hair instead of
hair. I know. I know that.
Take care.
Hey, how do you say that? How do you say what's the name of that fish that kind of swims upstream to lay eggs in Alaska? Those one that people like to eat as sushi. What's
bears
that
like
fish
to
called?
Eat?
Yeah, the
Salmon?
bears like to eat. Yeah, once again, thank you. That's why it's not AI. What was that word again?
It's in salmon.
That's the way you're supposed
No,
to.
Salmon is didn't he have
Kill
a
his
fatwa
son.
put on him?
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Fatwa, yeah.
We got another hour of that coming up, so now you want to hear that fast forward button.
For an hour.
But first, want to say a huge shout out, thank you to our dear friend Dave LaPointe for jumping on a couple weeks ago and giving a very, very comprehensive, thorough, complete breakdown of all the goods and the bads of FIFA, the World Cup a few weeks ago. Dave LaPointe, of course, the host of Any Given Yesterday podcast. If you like rabbit holes you didn't think you would ever be interested in. The first episode focused on a baseball pitcher who, it was like one of those Field of Dreams type thing, got a September call up, did pretty okay. His last game was like a complete game 6-hit shutout, never made it back to the majors.
Huh.
And it's like falling down the rabbit hole, like what happened to this guy? Why? I mean, he showed so much promise. But never.
I'm going to guess CIA. Right?
You know what? Yes. But yeah, Dave jumped on. It was really great to talk to him about his thoughts about the scandalous Argentina and FIFA, and you guys I know it's newsworthy. You've probably heard since that podcast, the president of FIFA, the grifting never ending, but it got to the point where now most of the countries in Europe governing football organizations have said we will not play another game under the FIFA umbrella until he is gone.
Yeah.
Because he tried to sell the World Cup to Jared Kushner,
Yeah.
and the
Well,
50.
wasn't that was rejected by both the European and the North American federations, right?
Yeah, but
That proposal.
the big one is like the 55 nation, the 55
Yeah.
European football nations all signed a pact saying, yeah, we are 100% done until he's gone. So
Okay. So
But
that
South
was
America was cool. They were cool. They were cool with that. Is that what happened? Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah. Oh, you look, Argentina's like, hey, as long as we keep getting free passes to the finals and
Yeah.
and we get to win, it's
I did see this lovely thing about of all the in all of the times where the Argentinians have won the World Cup, there was like cheating that happened along the way or something like that. Now, I don't know the history, don't at me either because I'm not really a fan, but I know that the famous one is that with the hand of God incident, right? With
that
Diego
is,
Maradona.
yep, that was 84.
That was just one of them, right? But I mean,
Jacques, just
apparently,
explain that to me.
Yeah, it was insane, but this was an odd one, and Dave, had just found out about this too. In 1978, here's the most fucked up thing: Argentina had to beat Peru by 3 goals.
right, yeah.
And so this is a game in Peru against Argentina in which
Yeah.
Henry Kissinger went into the Peru locker room to talk to them before the game.
Well, I thought Peru threw that game. Like, I
Well,
thought they were
that's
paid.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, why is Henry Kissinger,
Yeah.
like at the time, the Secretary of State, like why is he getting involved in a game in South America? Anyway, says, but
There's an irony.
This is a nice country you have here.
Isn't Argentina where the Nazis went?
It'd be too bad if something happened to it,
oh.
Well, but
yeah.
isn't Argentina where the Nazis went?
Well, the funny thing is, yes.
So the Henry Kissinger now, trying to. Well, anyway, never mind.
But and it's funny because they did everything was the only reason Argentina didn't win the World Cup is. And we broke it down on the podcast. Don't have to do it again. But at the end of the day, Spain had the most stifling defense in the history of any sport. In 8 games, they gave up 1 goal.
Yeah.
Like literally. And it's not that they gave up 1 goal because their goaltender stood on its head. Yeah. He took naps. Anyways, but that was fun. Thank you, Dave, for doing that. It was so much fun. His new podcast is a delight. But we're speaking of delights, we're going to start right at the top with talking television because a few weeks ago, Biff, management and we've played the Golden Girls in the background numerous times. Like the complete series just kind of runs in a loop. It's one of the things if we're kind of getting ready to sit down and watch something and I might be cooking or she's cooking or dealing with like whatever issues, we're not going to really start something that will kind of just be background. And then we'll watch like 3 episodes. But for the first time, we started a couple weeks ago watching the spinoff show Golden Palace.
Oh, did not even know about that.
And no B. Arthur.
Right.
At the end of the Golden Girls, we all remember she married the love of her life. Do you remember who the love of her life was, Joe?
No, actually, I never saw the finale. I don't remember the finale.
She married Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. And this is Dorothy.
Dorothy married Leslie Nielsen, and then the 3 remaining Golden Gals bought a hotel called Golden Palace in Miami. I'm not going to say we had low expectations going in, but where the Golden Girls is considered one of the greatest shows in the history of television, it's not overstating to say an important show and a groundbreaking show. So, without the great B. Arthur, who was Maude, 10 years before she was Dorothy. And again, just a history of being ahead of the curve and on the right side of everything social. We went into this, I don't want to say apprehensive, but we weren't like thinking it was going to be as good. And Joe will not back me up on this because I can't get him on the bandwagon yet, but I think I might because I sent him a screen grab yesterday. It is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. It stars, along with Betty White and Estelle Getty and why am I blanking?
Rue McClanahan.
Rue McClanahan, thank you. A very young Don Cheadle, who was fantastic.
12. He was 12 years. No, he was
12 years old.
He is so great in this. And then I think the real surprise is how great Cheech Marin is.
Cheech Marin is really good, though. I mean, he's always been good. I mean,
have you seen Nash Bridges? I mean, come on.
Well, that's right. I mean, he's had years to develop, but to be that much of a leading character, to be that much of an ensemble cast. I knew he'd be good, but it wasn't a one joke premise. And at the time, the Cheech and Chong movies and all that kind of a one joke premise. But it was great. The guest stars are abundant, like every episode.
Right.
The one we watched last night.
It lends itself to that when you have a hotel, right? So
perfect. Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Ricardo Montalban.
It's like Love Boat, right?
Yes, exactly. It is very much. I mean, I think that's why it's very plausible. Is
that Jack Black?
Yes.
I'm looking at the IMDb entry, and I see the photo gallery, and I see a very young Jack Black. This is 92, 93. So I went to the IMDb page while you were talking because I wanted to get my opinion backed up by facts and science. I'm like, look, IMDb, obviously, sometimes they are notorious for being slanted on certain projects because the rating system is all arbitrary.
Definitely slanted
whatever.
on those Asian programming. What did I say?
You say.
What did I say?
I don't see slant. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't. But anyway, so I'm like, yeah, you know what? The IMDb rating on this, it's going to be consensus. Like this is going to be, bomb. Like it's going to be a 4.0. No. 7.2 out of 10.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, for
how about does Rotten Tomatoes do those or
maybe I haven't checked it out. No, I think not maybe, but I think the 3,300 votes, 7.2 out of 10, and I'm like, okay, maybe Jacques has maybe he has some credence here. So I don't know. Maybe maybe when I get some free time, the schedule's about bare.
I was going to ask about because I'm not asking about. I was thinking about watching Hot in Cleveland because that had a really high.
That's also
yeah.
That's also kind of like one of those sleeper
spiritual
successors to Golden Girls.
Right. But obviously Betty White's in that, so that's the reason for the connection that I made.
But that has like Wendy Malick and Valerie Bertinelli.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really good cast. So
but sticking on Golden Palace just for a second, I was so surprised. The same kind of really laughing our ass off, and then absolute Niagara Falls. There's a couple really great moments, and again, I mean the things the topics that they it was So this is 93, like Joe said, 93, 94. By the way. There's Joe doing his own research, again, Joe's out there doing his own research.
I'm sorry. I can't just take one man's opinion.
Really, at the time, you got to remember, the hotel has a booking of the Daughters of the Confederacy, something like that coming in. And Blanche puts up a big Confederate flag in the lobby, which Don Cheadle is like, you can't have this here, and it's just sad that it's like, here it is 30, almost 40 years later, we're still having the same but at the time, this is like 35 years ago, they have a really heartfelt, and Blanche is like, well, this is what this flag represents to me. It's like the family barbecues and getting together and this and that and the other thing. And I don't see that at all, and he's like, but then luckily a couple of the bigoted women who were
Right.
so Blanche, because I think one of the Confederate ladies referred to him as one of the good ones, and you could see the light bulb go over. So it's that kind of stuff, just like the Golden Girls. There was some transgender stuff, but anyways, but I think I got Joe possibly on board because there's an episode that co-stars Harvey Korman.
Harvey Korman and Tim Conway.
And Tim Conway. Wow. Yes, I didn't even know what the episode was about because we haven't, I didn't want to jump ahead. I didn't want to have any spoiler things. And then I find out, it's only one season. And because back then, people were like, that's not my Golden Girls. They didn't give it a chance. I really don't think people gave it a chance because, it's one of those one season shows. It was great.
Are you going to watch Aftermath now? Is this a trend?
Watch that, and it was
because Aftermath was basically the same premise, right? It's like a Klinger and a couple of other characters. And they start a hotel, right?
Is that what it is?
Isn't Aftermath like a hotel?
Something like that, yeah.
But didn't Trapper John MD wasn't that also a spin-off?
But that was a complete, that was a thing, but
it was almost like an alternate universe. Yeah. Like it was like it had nothing to do with the original series except the Trapper John character.
Yeah, basically he came home and he's a surgeon. He became home and became a surgeon.
And that was a hit.
It was and did they ever do the stunt casting with people from MASH coming by?
I don't recall. But just briefly, Aftermath, IMDb. Korean Wars ended. Colonel Potter, Sergeant Klinger, and Father Mulcahy find themselves together once again. This time at a veterans hospital. Okay,
veterans hospital. Okay.
Makes sense.
There's a show. Oh God, who was the lead character in Misery?
Kathy Bates? Or
Kathy Bates, yeah. Okay. So Kathy Bates has a show called Matlock.
Yeah.
Where she's a lawyer. Right. Here's the funny thing.
Well, that's the Redux, right? Basically.
No, it's not a reboot, but Matlock exists in that world. So there's references.
Okay.
That it's like, oh, you're a lawyer, like the TV show. It's like they actually in the show reference the show.
Right. So the only connection is that her last name happens to be Matlock, and she happens to be an older lawyer.
That's it. I haven't watched a ton of episodes, but I have. Gosh, I'm not supposed to mention this, but it's a CBS show for older folks.
Wait. Well, can you name me the CBS show for younger folks?
Yes, that would
Byron
be
Allen. Comics Unleashed.
That would be two funny things. You know what? We'll stay with spinoffs right now.
Yes.
There is, I just found out, a spinoff of Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, Stewart saves the universe.
Stewart
fails to save the universe.
Fails to save the universe.
Oh, something like that.
Correct. Yeah. And it's so far it's all the second string. Well, mostly it's all the second string characters who are the main characters, and so far there's been a couple pop-ups here and there, like for the guys who own the comic book store somehow have wound up in an alternate universe because of a machine that Sheldon Cooper and who was the other lead on the show? Leonard created.
Sheldon Leonard, by the way. Do you know who Sheldon Leonard is?
Yes, I do. I'm blanking on Sheldon Leonard. Why do I know Sheldon Leonard?
Out you two pixies go. Through the door, out the window. He's the guy who also created the Dick Van... not created, but produced the Dick Van Dyke Show.
And that's his greatest line. That's his... No, you know what? That is his second greatest line. What is Sheldon Leonard's greatest line in the history of his career? Let's not limit...
We're going to get someone to play a better you.
They did... never mind. That's a rabbit hole for another day. But it is really fun that this Stewart doesn't or fails to save the universe because they jump from dimension to dimension and each world is different. So it's the same cast of people, but just in these crazy different universes.
So it's almost like a a Black Adder kind of thing, where except he's spending a whole series on an era with the cast. You're just like an episode with the cast. Yeah. And by the way, that's the third spinoff of Big Bang Theory.
There's Young Sheldon.
Yep.
And what's the other one?
Well, the other one is a spinoff of Young Sheldon. It's like Max and something's first marriage.
Oh
wow.
man.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is like Sheldon's older brother who kind of looks like Patrick Swayze. And they so much so that they did an episode of Young Sheldon where the mom is like obsessed with Roadhouse. Like obsessed with Roadhouse. Like she's secretly watching Roadhouse on VHS, you know? And she's like a Southern family, whatever. So they find out, and then like all of a sudden, like somebody walks by, and like one of like the sister or somebody walks by the TV and goes, "Oh wow, he looks kind of like Max," and which is her son. So her like, you know, her whole thing is crushed now because it's like, oh my God, the guy that I'm lusting after is almost identical to my oldest son. And it's like, yeah, so it was funny. Wow. By the way, I apologize to your dad because I kind of offhandedly one day when I was visiting your dad's home, I made an offhanded remark about how poor young Sheldon was as far as like entertainment goes, and that was before I watched a couple of episodes because it's a fine show. It's actually a fine show.
Yeah,
Young Sheldon. But yeah, there's 3 Big Bang Theory shows. So.
Yeah, I saw a couple episodes of Young Sheldon. I'm like, oh, you know, if I had time, this is something I might, you know, or a different area. Yeah,
you know, Blue Bloods has a spinoff too.
Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
So it does.
Yeah, which is amazing. It's called Boston Blue. So yeah, and they filmed that in Boston. Like,
do they?
Parts of it, yeah. So I mean, they were doing it like last week.
Yeah, they were down at the seaport.
Wahlberg.
They were down at the seaport.
I did not know that part, but okay.
I did.
Oh,
I knew that.
Did they jump
you
between
must keep
Boston
up with the
and
news.
Toronto?
What's that?
Did they jump between Boston and Toronto?
You know, it's funny. Somebody had mentioned that there's like 4 cities that they toggle between.
Yeah.
That is Boston.
Like Vancouver and
yeah, depending on
Toronto.
I wonder how all that you know that part of it works. But
yeah, that's funny.
But yes, I very much know the new spinoff. I'm probably gonna watch. I'm looking forward to episode 2 of season 2 of Boston. Boston Blue. Yes.
I guess you know what I don't watch Golden Palace, but I might watch Boston Blue episode 2 of season 2. So
yeah. I might even have a watch party for it. Potentially.
Okay, you're that into it? Fine.
I really am. Nice. We'll talk about it more later. But anyways, yes, with Golden Palace, definitely, it's like a hidden gem, you know, and it is. It goes into the pantheon of great one-season shows, like up there with like Firefox and
Firefly,
and what was
Tripping Daisies?
That
Pushing
made 2.
Daisies.
Pushing Daisies was a season and a half cut short because of the strike. Yeah. And that was a really great show. That was really fun. Another show, Joe. So Joe knows this, Biff. If my wife and I, management and I love a show, we have this habit of not watching the last couple episodes.
So you could see it or something?
No, so that way the show is still alive. The show isn't done if we haven't seen it. So we never watched like the last couple of episodes of Chuck. We never watched the last couple episodes of Pushing Daisies. And so you know,
you can probably watch Chuck now, right? Now that Levi guy's
Zionist. Well, the funny thing is, now we don't want to watch it. Like now
we don't want to watch it.
We don't want to watch it.
Give that jerk the satisfaction.
And you know, it's sad because he was also he was big on season 3 of Finding Miss Maisel, the Amazing Miss Maisel. So it's always Marvelous Miss Maisel. So that does suck. More entertainment content that was really okay. I'm not gonna say great, but okay.
I just feel like these artist managers just tell their artists to just keep their mouth shut, right? It seems like I mean, there are some exceptions where there the action people like Woody Allen, right? You can't save that guy, right? I mean, but like there are just people that if they just kept their mouth shut, they don't get
Oh,
they do all that whatever, right?
there's my brain does this thing. It doesn't remember names anyways, but it also defrags, people I don't want to remember. Kara something. She was in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, Cara. Oh, Gina Carano.
Gina
Gina
Carano,
Carano.
the fighter.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
she was a great character,
yeah.
and then you think that, like it was season 2 of The Mandalorian where
But
she,
she's back though, right?
what's
Isn't she
that?
back? Isn't she back?
Oh no,
I
no.
think I think she was like kind of back,
Oh,
but
is she?
whatever.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
like I don't know what back with the
Right. I mean, like
Mandalorian, but
I thought they kind of she reappeared in one of the not the Mandalorian, but in one of the whatever like
oh,
she
like
did
Boba Fett or something.
like I thought she reprised her character or something like that.
Hmm.
I'll have to look it up, but
Hmm.
but it did. The Mandalorian when she got
Yeah.
booted off of that, and it was, I don't want to go into why she was, but she
Yeah.
definitely, canceled herself. And
Yeah.
and then it goes on to do like 3 more huge seasons and now a movie. It's funny because she did this big press conference like a month later where she signed like a 5-picture deal with one of the conservative bloggers.
Is it the what Turning Point US? Not Turning Point. No,
It-
the Daily whatever.
It was something like I see the guy
Yeah.
like
the one that Shapiro does. Or something
yes,
like that?
thank you.
Right?
It was
Ben Shapiro.
it was him, and it's like they met. They were gonna like they were putting together a
Something Beast or
studio
something like that.
to
Something
rival
Beast?
Disney. They were gonna like
Beast?
I don't. I just remember it was Shapiro when you said Shapiro.
All I can see though is on her IMDb, since I'm on there now, her last acting credit was from 2022, My Son Hunter, and that's it. It was that's yeah. So she hasn't acted on screen, at least on an IMDb eligible
Right.
Right,
show since 2022.
So, but yeah, I mean that was just stupid because I mean the Mandalorian. So yeah, so last since we last talked, seen a couple movies actually in the theater. Saw the Supergirl movie,
Yeah.
Supergirl, Spiderman, and the Mandalorian movie, and ranking them in order. Spider-Man, Mandalorian, Supergirl, and Supergirl was fine. It's a fun take on that character. Saw it with my youngest son, who said it was fine, but the entire movie could have been a 10-minute flashback scene in a better movie. Like
Mhm.
the whole movie could have been summed up. And now that James Gunn has taken over the DCU, it is very much a Guardians of the Galaxy Supergirl movie, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It was fun. It was. I'm glad I saw it on the big screen. It was a fun movie, but that's it. It wasn't anything like you. It's not like must see. I don't know if it plays a bigger part and things down the road because he introduced, an anti-hero and a very popular anti-hero in it. If you guys know anything about it, have you seen the posters or anything?
No.
So
I'll
there's
be
that.
honest with you. I kind of got like, and I haven't really watched that many of them, but I kind of feel like I have a little bit of the fatigue in that genre because there's so much coming out that like it's
Yeah.
oh, got another one kind of a thing.
Right. It's hard for you to get psyched up about one particular. Although
I mean, I think
Spider-Man,
it's probably
I think
because I don't have a history with the stuff with the origin materials, right? So like I never read these comic books as a kid, and this was never, the only attachment I have is oh yeah, I used to watch the Amazing Spider-Man on Saturday mornings when I did have Saturday mornings off, kind of a thing, right? Or like I watched the Justice League, that cartoon. So I have a very, that's a very shallow association with those, things, right?
my guess
But
is
I don't
that if there's one
remember-
movie to see, I guess it would be Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean,
Is that right? Yeah,
but here is the big thing that is causing fatigue
yeah.
in my house with these movies. It's the last wave of movies. It's all multi-universe.
Yeah.
It's everything
Interesting.
is now multi-universe where it's exhausting, and it's like so. And this is how they're trying to merge all the properties, like the Fantastic
They're Battle
Four.
of the Network starring these things.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Biff. And look, it's fun in doses, and it's fun, but everything. So it's funny with that, Stewart, fails to save the universe.
Yeah.
My son took one look at that and goes, "Oh, great, another multi-universal thing." So it's like, oh, and this one is this. Look, it's funny when they did it, but every show is that. Whether it's Loki, whether it's the latest, the Wolverine and Deadpool movie,
Yeah.
but Spider-Man, the
Or
multiverse.
I don't know if the Strange New Worlds for Star Trek do that, because I've been watching it lately, and I don't know if I'm guessing that at some point there will be some sort of multiverse thing. I mean, obviously
Right.
that show, it's not multiverse, but they really have fun with it. They know they're a TV show.
Yes, that they don't insist upon themselves, Joe. I think is
Right.
it's the best way to say. But yeah, so Spider-Man, like the new Doctor Doom movie. I'm not looking forward to it, and it's
Doomsday.
like Doomsday. It's like, let's find a way to get every character in the history of Marvel into this one movie, and they did that, and it was funny when they did that with Deadpool, where you think you're meeting Captain America, and it's Chris Evans as Johnny Flame from Fantastic Four,
Yes,
20
and
years.
they're in the Fox movie, graveyard or whatever. Like, it's like a repository of like all the miscellaneous Fox superhero characters. Yeah, that's funny. It was a great movie. You and I think, had a spectacular time watching
It's
that movie.
spectacular, and that reveal of him being Johnny Flame and not Captain America was so great. But yeah, it is. It's just fatigue. And look, as somebody who lives for the Star Wars, the Star Trek, everything Marvel, everything DC, and everything in between, and it's like, I guess we'll go to the theater to see the big budget movie, Mandalorian, and again, it was fun. Management loves the Mandalorian, so that was a lot of fun. Spider-Man went as a family. That was a lot of fun. Supergirl, again, it was fun. It's not a bad movie.
No.
And it's a big budget, big screen, great visual, so it's great to see in a theater, but it's also not like quintessential. It's not
what's
like,
also fun, that isn't Marvel, but is kind of Guardians of the Galaxy-esque, is the Masters of the Universe movie. It's on Amazon Prime, and it is a good time. It's sometimes it's like some of the jokes are a little too okay. They're they may be like going a little too far.
That's the one with Skeletor, is that right?
Yes, Jared Leto as Skeletor, and
Jared Leto Skeletor. That's funny.
Yeah, it's for real.
That's funny.
He's a better Skeletor than he was a Joker, I think.
Wow.
So it's Evil Lynn is played by Alison Brie from Glow and other things, and then Idris Elba is Manowar.
That's so great.
Yeah, but it's a good time. Like, the way they incorporate the toyness of the series with the real world of this universe is really funny. It's like how the people got their names, because it's like, this Ram Man and like He-Man and all that stuff. Like, how they got their names is very unique. Like, the way the device that they use to justify those names is very good. So I say, and it's kind of Guardians of the Galaxy-esque, because it's Adam, Prince Adam is sent to Earth as a boy by his mother, who is half human, who's from Earth, obviously, and from Eternia, because of their Skeletor's group is going to take over Eternia and ruin it. So she sends him to Earth. He grows up as a man on Earth, and then his best friend Tila comes back to basically bring him back to Eternia to help fight Skeletor. And she's grown up. She's played by an actress from like Smallville. No, not Smallville. Riverdale. She's one of the actresses on Riverdale. Yes. Anyways, worth a watch. I say it's don't. It's not one of these cheesy cash in movies. It's pretty good. So I recommend. No, it's no Golden Palace, but I recommend Masters of the Universe.
We were going to watch that last night, and then that's when management was like, getting ready, and we got sucked into a couple episodes of Golden Palace, and we're like, and at this point it was
another
like,
reason for me to hate Golden Palace.
But we're probably going to watch that tonight. So no, that's a good recommendation because I have our friend Woody, who's not a big movie going guy, for some reason he wound up in the theater seeing that. Woody prides himself on not knowing things like pop culture things. And
are you saying he loves to not know?
He loves to not know. So he didn't know anything about He-Man, went to see it and thought, oh, it was fun. He didn't know. Yeah. He didn't know what a Skeletor was. It's like, but he's like, yeah, that sounds like a movie you would go see. I'm like, it will be a movie. I will be trying to go.
I used to go to movies like all the time, right? And certainly as a family, and obviously, the pandemic kind of put a stop to that. But post-pandemic, I haven't. So I will say the next movie I'm going to see in the theater, I'm going to presume, is a sequel to the last movie that I saw in the theater, which is the sequel to Godzilla -1, and the next one is -0 coming in November sometime. And so that's how long it's been since I've been to a movie. That's the last movie I've seen.
I mean, you kind of have to save up sometime, unless you're a Jacques. You can't afford to go to a movie every weekend with your family because it costs like $100.
Now, if you go off hours, there's different days of the week and stuff like that. It is
really
cheap.
Jacques. We have this thing called jobs.
Oh, no. He has a job too.
But it is. You can bring your own snacks.
I was kidding.
Bring your own.
I like when I go, because I tend to work on East Coast time. I take that matinee show because it's also just less crowded, right? So
that's what I like. So other so moving off of that, let's get into sports. Let's get into our sports. How was F&H last night, Bev? You any good? Or the other night? Sorry.
Yeah, it's another. It was another Friday night.
If you don't get hurt, I guess it's a win. So it's I over the last couple of weeks have been toying with the idea of, and I said it out loud that I'm not, my wife hates when I say I'm close to 60. She hates that. She hates when I say that, but I am. And I say, what? Maybe when I'm 60, I'll find an over 60 football, soccer league to play in. And I was just saying that to a friend of mine that I was down at the pitch with my youngest son and my oldest son, who never had any interest in this sport. Yeah. But again, because of the anime show Blue Lock, my oldest one is interested in learning how to play. So we were down at the pitch, working out with his brother. And I was going back there. First of all, the first few times we went, it was fine. There's a field right near us, really great field at a charter school. And then we get there one day and it's locked, and I have to climb an 8-foot chain link fence to get in. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm literally jumping a fence to go, work out with my sons. And I'm like, I hope when they're like 57, they remember that. It's like, but so we do that. And then we roll up. This is 2 Fridays ago. I was talking to a comedian friend of mine on the phone. And I said, yeah, I've been thinking about, waiting till I turn 60. I think I'm going to see if I can find an over 50s league to start in.
Why not? Or why not? It's like, why wait, right?
Thank you for saying why wait. So
no, seriously. I mean, it's basically the mentality because when I started playing hockey again, I hadn't played in like 17 years or whatever the heck it was, or probably more than that. Yeah, maybe 17 years is probably about right? Played hockey in Canada, went to Hawaii, hockey dies, and then as an adult, hey, I can afford to buy equipment now, and yeah. So obviously, why wait is definitely the right way to go.
So that was this was a week ago, last Friday, and I was truly on the phone with a friend saying that, and I'm like, hey, I got to go. I'm at the pitch, and I start working out with the boys. All of a sudden, a bunch of cars start rolling up. And it turns out that there's a pickup game there, kind of a F&H thing. And my youngest son said, hey, can you ask him if I can stick around and play? Like, I just have regular sneakers. Like, my other son has sneakers. We don't have any gear. And I go over and I ask the guy, and he's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's like, we can always use a sub. And he played for a couple hours with these guys. And then, I'm talking to the guys, super nice. Everybody it's this super nice group of guys. And, and then, a couple of them are like, oh, do you play? It's like, no. He's like, oh, you should play. And get home that night, and my oldest son was saying, it's like, hey, can we go get cleats for me? I wanna play. And he has this thing where he can't really run much, but he's like, I'll play goal. I want to learn the game. Yeah. And so we went and we got him cleats and shin pads. And then I thought, why wait? Right. So I have, as of Sunday, as of last Sunday, at age 57, I played my first 11v11 full field 2-hour football game, and it was more fun. It was so amazing. And this is what always amazes my sons. Like when we moved to Qatar, I had hockey, and I kind of won the locker room before we went out on the ice. I had, it was funny because of my hair and stuff like that. Yeah. I was literally lacing up the foil, which cracked everybody up because I was wearing a Charlestown Chief jersey. And, that's an international. So all the guys from Sweden and the Finnish guys and the German guys, of course, all the Canadians knew that. So, even before, people are like, they're picking sides, and there's like kind of, arguing back and forth. And I just start walking up to, a guy who I talked to earlier, and I'm like pointing at him and pretending like, because other guys are arguing. It's like, hey, just point at me and pretend we're arguing. And we just start pushing each other. As the game starts at one point, and I'm matched up against a guy who's the size of a brick wall, and the play goes upfield, and I just take about 2 steps and I push him really hard and then throw myself on the ground to grab my knee. And like 2 of his friends look over, like, what did you do to him? Like they didn't see that I did that, like all that. And they're just laughing at my sons every time they turned around. They're like, why was everybody laughing? Like, it's just that. There's a bridge that goes kind of right next to the field, and there's an ambulance goes over the bridge. And I just point to one of the guys and stuff like, the next one's for you. And he's like kind of confused because at this point I should say everybody else but me and my sons are either from Ghana or Brazil. Like so there's a little bit of a language thing, but that pantomime physical comedy, it's just, it works. It works. And Biff, I know I'm a line 2 guy who's always going to be a line 2 guy. I'm not trying to be a line 1 guy playing line 2. And so I KISS philosophy. I kept it simple, stupid.
Sure.
But
you kind of went back and said there's like, so now there's a popular like soccer anime now. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's called Blue Lock. It's huge.
Blue Lock, okay.
Like when we were in LA, there was one of those Blue Lock is... It's and you will know the name of the company. It is the same people who do Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan. I wonder.
There's Attack on Titan, and they have another one. So there was a little museum,
Blue Lock, right?
Yeah, and it's all about this genius guy was given the reins to take over Japanese.
It's Magazine. Shonen Magazine. It's Kodansha, which is the publishing company, but Magazine is the. God, I can't even remember the last Magazine stuff that I read. So, and then just, I think we talked about this, right? Like the way these mangas work is that it's, there's these different publications that either run monthly or weekly, right? And then essentially each one of those things has like, whatever, 15 to 20 different, products in there, and it's serialized, right? So this one is Shonen Magazine, which is like, gosh, I was never a Magazine guy much. I'm trying to remember what I would have read from that particular one. So, okay, yeah, I'm trying to think of if there's anything of these. They were big, and I know they were big when I was a kid, but they kind of died when I became like a preteen kind of a thing. So,
but they do Attack on Titan, right? Is it the same people?
I
And
It could
I
be.
was just basing that
Yeah.
on this pop up that we went to in LA
Yeah.
where you could like do a photo drop thing. The Attack on Titan where this giant monster is coming over a wall and reaching down into a village. They have that whole village set up so you can stand up and reach down into it
Yeah.
like you're that guy. So yeah. So that but the fact that
Yeah.
I am, and now there's a WhatsApp group, and now we are signed up. This group
Oh,
plays
cool.
every Sunday,
Yeah.
Wednesday, and Friday. So I played 3 other games. After each game, my legs just want to die. I'm not an Apple Watch guy, but I did
Yeah. Well, yeah.
borrow
Yeah.
my wife's.
Yeah.
4.6 miles is
Yeah.
what I ran.
Well, get yourself one.
No, I don't want to wear a watch. But I was after the first game. I'm like, I wonder how much I'm
Well,
actually
it's
running.
useful. Like it's useful for other things too. But I got mine because mine's not on. I'm not an Apple guy, so mine's a Google product. But I got mine thanks to this. It's this whole thing about Google sucks you back in by if you buy their products, they give you money to buy other things, and then they tell you, oh, you're gonna lose this much in credits.
Right.
You better use it before, and so it
That's
does
how
that
they get you.
stupid.
That's the more you spend, the more you save. But it was interesting because I ran 4.6 miles in one game, and you know it. It's like it's not like jogging. It's like you're jogging, you're walking, and then sprinting, and then sprinting, and then sprinting.
By the way, the stuff is useless. When I skate out, it actually tracks my exercise properly. When I play net, it's like I don't know what you did, but your heart rate went up a lot for some reason. Because I'm staying within like like this little small, let's say whatever, right?
We'll call it a crease.
20 square foot, 20 square foot, area. But so why is your heart rate so high? I don't know, but we'll count it for exercise, but we don't know what you did.
Yeah, right. It's like, are you eating a lot of sodium right now? Like, what's
Right.
driving your heart rate up?
I've played it, but my sons are amazed that it's like that I didn't embarrass myself. And again, because I didn't try to do anything. Like, I would just try to take away space. I would just try to take away lanes if I got a ball. And it's funny because Biff knows this story. Like my first game playing a junior B team. We had 3 games away, and I didn't play at all. The first game, I served a minor penalty for the goaltender. Like I had to literally skate across the ice, sit in the back. It's the only time my skates touched the ice. And the second game, because we had a couple guys suspended, he had to play me. And in the locker room before the game, he like literally, it's like it happened yesterday. He goes, if you accidentally wind up with a puck on your stick, get your head out of your ass and pass it to somebody better than you. And he 360s around the room and says, everybody in here is better than you. It's like that. That was my pep talk. And so,
but the thing, to be fair, right? Like, so it's, and I used to hear this on when I used to listen to Mike and Mike in the morning, right? Because you had Mike Greenberg and Mike Golick, and Mike Golick was even though he's a lineman, right? I mean, if you're an NFL lineman, right, you're an excellent athlete, right? And so, like, Mike Greenberg used to complain that he's like, you never, so apparently Mike Greenberg was a avid tennis guy, but he's no athlete, right? And he goes, and he just, you haven't really played this at all. And you're like you come out of the thing just good. Is how does that happen? And it's like like athleticism, right? When you're trained, right, it kind of translates to easily,
and these sports do. It's the biggest parallels is the first step. Yeah. Like you very rarely get into a sprint on the pitch. It's like 20, 30 yards with a guy here or there, but it's usually a 5 foot, same thing. The puck's in front of the net. It goes into the corner. It's like that first, second step. It's the anticipation. It's all of that. And then I'm smart enough because I watched enough of this stuff to know, look, I don't have anywhere to go with this. I can just, if I'm on the sideline, I'll just kick it at somebody so it goes out on them. You know what I mean? If I'm a foot away and I'm not going to be able to get through this guy, it's like, okay, I'm just going to, kick it off of them and the ball's going to go out of bounds. Or same thing. It's like if this guy beats me to the ball, I'm not going to be able to do anything. So I'm just going to get there just in time to kick it out of bounds. All that little stuff. I mean, but it was fun. These guys, very welcoming. My oldest son, who again can't run that much, they had him play goal and he did okay. He did great. He did great. the fact that he played at all is something in a million years we wouldn't. I mean, and then he paid the price. The next couple of days, he literally couldn't move because his EDS, like when he exerts himself too much, he really. I mean, I paid the price because I'm not used to running like that. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm just old man. But yeah, I'm officially a footballer. I'm doing it at least a couple times a week. Even though the high school season starts in a couple weeks, and the youngest one won't play. I paid.
Oh, wait, he's not playing anymore?
Oh no, he's going to play high school, so he won't be able to play this pickup with these
this other
guys.
one. Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, I'm still going to come out on Sundays." I'm like, "No, you're not." Like high school is 5-6 days a week, and it's 4 hours. It's like you will rest, like the Lord intended on Sunday. But we'll go down. So I am. I'm actually a footballer now. I cannot believe how much I love it. I cannot believe. That yeah, and I did. I did. I said that to my wife. I'm like, I'm not going to be around for this, but there's going to be a day where one of the boys, gets out of bed, everything hurts, they sneezed, and their shoulders start to hurt, and they're going to realize, oh, this is how old my dad was when he started playing full pitch football against a bunch of Brazilians who have been playing since they came kicking out of the womb. You know what I mean? And the fact that he didn't embarrass himself, but there was one play, this freight train. And I knew exactly what I was doing, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. But it was, I'm going to get to the ball a half a second before him, and I'm going to go flying. And that's exactly what it was. But as long as you touch the ball first, it's a penalty on them.
Yeah.
And everybody was started yelling at the guy. It's like, hey, what do you do? I knew what I was doing. And he was like, he's yelling in, is it Ghanese? Is it people from Ghana? Is that the language they speak? And they're yelling. A couple of his friends are yelling at him because it's like for running into me so hard. I'm trying to explain. It's like, I knew what I was doing. And I told him, it's like,
it's a hockey movie.
It's 100% is, but I knew
it's like the guys, I played out a couple weeks ago, and it's like, they don't realize that, like, I will play that, I'm not when I'm play, because I'm slow, right? Especially now, right? But they don't realize that, oh, you know what? There's this whole thing about you don't go directly to the puck. If I could get to the point where I could cut the guy off instead of getting to the puck first, right? I cut the guy off and then get to the puck, right? And like, line two guys don't do that, but and they're like, oh yeah, it's like they collide into me and say, oh, I kind of get it, kind of thing, right? It's that thing.
It's exactly. So, and I did. The guy was big. I went flying, and it's like, and it's the same thing. I was only able to play 2 levels up of what my skating ability would have been because I was willing to sacrifice my body to block shots and shit like that. And as I'm hitting the ground, I'm like, what are you doing? But
So what I'm doing is a lot of what I do, And obviously, the other what are you doing thing is that, like an idiot, I still go down and block shots playing line two. It's like, what am I doing?
It's habit, and at the same time, it ingratiates me to these guys. Yeah. It's like, oh, he's willing to do this, and it is funny. After the game, you talk to a couple of the guys, and I know enough about the different leagues, and everybody has their own NHL jersey, but I know this team and that team, and the one shirt that I got, my little guy. A year ago in London is the guy named Eric Cantona, the King, this French guy who, it's a character like no other in sports, and he's amazing. But it's like, dude, it's so much fun. I love it, and I'm gonna do it like when the little guy's soccer season starts, when his high school. I'm not gonna go play my pickup and miss one of his games, but if he doesn't have a game, I'm definitely going to be continuing this, throughout the fall. I don't know if I'll play it in the winter, but it's made me think, it's like, maybe when I do come back for a month in October, November, if I can get gear, I'll come out and play F&H. I don't have any gear now. The biggest reason I'm not playing F&H, I don't have any gear. Yeah. So.
Well, I think you should get that jersey that the kids wore in that. What was that movie with I think it's Will Ferrell and Robert Duvall? Like Robert Duvall is like a jerk grandpa or something like that. And then
Kicking and Screaming.
Kicking and Screaming. That was a soccer movie, right?
It was.
You should get that jersey. See if anybody gets it.
See if anyone gets it. There's an amazing movie that came out 20 years before that called Kicking and Screaming. That's a completely different movie, but that was great.
By the way, so the reason why I brought up the manga was that there was this manga that was in I think it was in Champion because that's the one that I bought the most back then. And I don't even I don't know if I could find the the title, but there was this they used to so sports manga has been a staple of that industry for the longest time. And in fact, like and I think it's kind of well known that like basketball became a thing, in Japan because of the the manga, right? So um but either way, I remember like there was this insane soccer manga where like all of these players had these superpowers and stuff like that, and then there were times where like a guy will turn, he kicks the ball, and then the soccer ball turns into a fireball, and it's like all these like it's kind of like having these non-human characters playing soccer with each other, and I think it lasted for about 6 months, but it was like, yeah, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, but so that's what that's kind of like the typical stuff that happens. And, like if you look at like, what's great about reading those magazine or whatever, those actual compilation is that, there's going to be like two, maybe three actual legit stuff in there. And then you see all the other garbage stuff that, somebody greenlit. It's like, yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome. There is a very popular, I don't know what it's called, but the boys say there's also a very popular volleyball anime
yeah.
show about Japanese like volleyball. Is volleyball taken off there, or is it?
No, volleyball's always been pretty big there. I don't know if you know this, but Japan generally has done pretty well in like Olympic volleyball and stuff like that, despite their usual height disadvantage.
I don't know what you're talking about. So oh, I was just trying to think. So what is it? It is now mid-July. So this is kind of just
Mid-July?
August, early August. God, I am so screwed up since getting back. But yeah, we are still in the dead zone. You got another how long until hockey starts? The NHL?
Basically, kind of starts up in like September, but yeah. I mean, it's been yeah, it's I think they're going to, not this coming season, but the following season. I think they're reviving the World Cup of Hockey, so I'm looking forward to that. But this is going to be a kind of more of a normal season, and then I think the following season is going to be the kind of the disruptive season again, and then 2 years after that is going to be the Olympics again. So
Is that
we'll
what
see
it's
how it
going to be?
goes.
Every 2 years, it will be a World Cup, and then 2 years later,
I think that's
Olympics.
the cycle that they're trying to go back to. It's just one of those deals where the owners don't like it, right? But the players really do, and it's one of those. I think it's like a concession, right? So,
Nice.
but
Uh,
but I can look forward to now that I have my new my new obsession kind of thing. Not obsession, but I'm looking forward to the Wimbledon, which happens over the not the Labor Day weekend, pretty much, right? And so
Yep.
there's that, so I don't know if you've seen that, the thing, I made reference to Alex Yala, the
saw that.
Filipina,
Yep.
and she's just kind of, and because she won her recent tournament, I guess she's now really exploding. And I guess, you know, I don't know much about tennis. When I look at them, I think they're all amazing. But I guess the people who know about it are saying, yeah, she's kind of one of those rising stars, and she's legit. And I think Andy Roddick, I saw him saying that, yeah, she could actually win the Wimbledon, the U.S. Open. It's like what? It's like, so yeah.
Oh,
But yeah,
that's
that thing
great.
has been an explosion. So I'm kind of intrigued with it. And I've always liked tennis, but and then in recent years, just because like I love Rafa, but like Djokovic is kind of a douchebag, so kind of like so it's just one of those. Once again, right? It's the same thing with hockey, right? It's like yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Kachuk brothers, kind of a thing, right? So
No, I used to watch a lot of I mean, I think we all people
yeah,
my age and your age, Biff, not maybe Joe's age. I
yeah,
mean, and it's like in my day, it's like I do the John McEnroe era of
yeah,
tennis kind of I got everybody into it just a little bit because those
yeah,
personalities just transcended.
I
And
mean, I grew up in the 90s with like Pete Sampras and
yeah,
then Andre Agassi and all that stuff. So there was like a resurge, a whole
yeah,
new crop
yeah,
of a generation of superstars. And then,
yeah,
Monica Seles and
yeah,
all the women's tennis players as well. So yeah,
yeah.
no, we had our own uh, band of superstars.
Yeah. And I think that was a great age because, like, I mean, to me, like, I used to think that women's tennis just sucked, and then Martina came along, and then it's like, okay, so this is like, because it was all a baseline game, right? They're all back in, at the back of the baseline, just volleying each other until somebody screws up. It's like this is freaking boring as hell. And then Martina suddenly came in and brought in the power game, and then of course, you have the aforementioned, Monica Seles, and the whole next, and then of course the Williams sisters came in, and so now, like, the women's game is, I mean, it's all,
What gets
world
overlooked
class.
or not as much attention with the Williams sisters is they there was a window, there was a period of time where they were completely unbeatable
yeah,
as a duo,
yeah,
because they would simultaneously be facing each other in the finals of singles
yeah, and then they're doubles partners, yeah,
and then crush in the doubles. And
yeah,
there was a period of time where, the four big ones, so there's four big, women doubles and singles. So there was like
right.
8 where they won like
The
6
Grand
or
Slam, yeah,
7
yeah,
trophies a year between one of the two of them would win the singles, and they would, but their doubles, as good as they were as single players, as doubles, it was almost like
yeah,
shutouts, like almost
Yeah.
clean sheets.
Yeah.
It was almost so unfair, It's like, playing 2-on-2, and it's like Gretzky and Lemieux, and what I mean.
yeah.
But yeah, that is just the one sport, that women have gotten almost as much attention over like the last
Yeah,
30, 40 years, as that.
Mhm.
But
Well, there were periods where, like, they are more of a draw, right? Especially when the Williams sisters were dominating, right? I mean, that was, especially because the Americans have been kind of during that whole time, right? I mean,
Mhm.
so after Agassi, right? I mean, because at that point Agassi was kind of on the backside of his career and stuff like that, and then Andy Roddick was okay, but never, right? So certainly among the Americans, right? I mean, they've dominated, right? So now it's still right, once again, right back to the largely the Europeans and stuff like that. But yeah, but it was easy for me to watch the Wimbledon and the U.S. Open because, like, sitting through a baseball game is so brutal, and it's like, so they happen during that season when I have no, hockey, football, whatever, right? So that's the beauty of those sports. It's like, and so, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch this over baseball, kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So
it's funny because I was talking to my uncle yesterday, and it's funny because people don't wrap their head around when I say I don't watch any American sports. I guess the Red Sox are doing great, and he's like, but they're doing so great. It's like, I'm glad, but but I did see a clip that came across. I guess they had like this amazing, like, both rosters the other day used almost every player. Like, there's 25 people on a roster, and it went 13 innings, and they used everybody in the bullpen but the starters, like every relief pitcher on both teams. And it's like, and on one hand, I saw a person, like some broadcaster, like, melting down in the 13th inning when the Red Sox won it. And at the same time, I'm thinking, that was 6 hours. That was 6-7 hours. That was literally, that's your entire
it's
night.
probably not that bad anymore because of the
pitch clock.
With the pitch
Yeah.
clock, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm willing to go to games now, because the last game I went before the pitch clock was like holy crap, and
Yeah.
like, it was like a 3.5 hour game.
Well, in the early 2000s, during the revived Red Sox Yankee rivalry, those games averaged over 4.5 hours, and they play each other something like 16 or 20 times in the regular season. Like, every one of their games, they treat it like a game 7, even in the first game of the season. So they're 4.5, 5 hours long. It's like, anyways.
I don't know why. Freaking 160 game season. 160 games.
Yeah, it's just like unnecessary. But we haven't talked like stand up or comedy. I've not since getting back from LA. I went to a hosting class that my friend Mike Katrobas had last week, and that was fun, and a bunch of that was fun. That was really fun to go to that. I went to one mic that one of my friends was hosting, but I knew it was more of a showcase thing. I really have. I've stepped back. I've kind of taken the summer off. I don't think I have anything scheduled for a few more weeks. Been doing a lot of writing, which that is my favorite thing. And I keep sending Joe stuff, which he eventually will make better. But I've just written a ton. Like I'm talking maybe 15 new like bits. They're all like 2 to 3 minutes each, over a half hour of new material. But by the time it gets whittled down and fine-tuned, it will be like 15 to 20 new minutes of stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, how long are your typical sets?
Like right now, like if you feature, you usually do between 15 and 20 minutes. And if you host, you do between, let's say, 12 and 15. Like,
because you're doing it between the
right.
between the whatever, right? Yeah.
You do like 5-6 minutes up front and then a couple minutes in between, or maybe 10 minutes up front and a couple minutes here and there. I love doing that. I rather would do that. It's a tougher thing to do, but I really do enjoy it. But yeah, I've been prolifically writing. Our friend Woody, who's editing the sizzle reel for the pilot, hopefully we'll start on that in the next couple of weeks. He's
the pilot for what?
Yes, coaching Remley. My new exercise in futility. Wrote another sitcom. That's what I was out in LA shooting. It was a lot of fun. It's funny because I pulled in my good friend Dave Radican to help out. Get it across the finish line. He himself. Small World, has done a couple sitcom things himself. One of them he shot maybe 15 years ago that stars a local sports guy named Mike Adams. And my band Beyond It in 95, they tried to make our band his Friday night band on his cable vision sports talk show. So, but it's funny because I had him help me, get this done. And
so is that still how things work? Like, I mean, because it seems like the industry's changed quite a bit, right? So people still have to make pilots and stuff like that to sell? Is that like how it still works, or
everything is different and everything's the same. However, you can get it in front of somebody who greenlights it. But the old studio system is gone. But at the same time, the Chuck Lorre, who created Big Bang Theory, he will get anything greenlit to pilot because of his track record. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that, and then where, gosh forbid, he had 2 shows that went well, and then 3. Like anything he brings in, CBS will at least give him a pilot, or Paramount will at least give him a pilot for. So I'm doing
Paramount Skydance.
Is that the parent company now? I can't understand who owns everything, but what I'm doing is doing it a different way, where I am just shooting a sizzle reel. I'm going to take the sizzle reel to certain people and then pass it off to them and see where it goes from there. But it's been fun. I mean, I just like writing. Like I like writing. If anything comes of it, awesome. Yeah. But it's no different than F&H. You know what I mean? You play F&H not because you're going to get a contract to go anywhere. It's playing hockey is what you love to do. Writing is what I love to do, and
it's completely different than F&H, because you know why?
Why?
Because there is no expectation of anything going beyond F&H.
No, that's why it is exactly like that for me. There is no expectation. I don't write with the expectation. No. The fact that you're creating pilots and stuff like that, there is, not only is there no expectation, there is no hope, right? That's the difference, right? With F&H, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
With F&H.
But I
So no, don't put what we do on Friday Night Hockey, where the point of it is not the hockey, but it's something else. It's actually
it's funny because when I found out that Dave Radican, it turns out that all the older comics I'm friends with now all know this retired sports guy named Mike Adams, because he was the big local sports guys in the late 80s through the early 2000s, and he would go to their shows. They would be guests on whether it's his radio show or his TV show. So they all know each other. So I had kind of forgotten about that, and I knew somewhere in storage I had a DVD of us on that TV show. So I went to dig for it. While I went to dig for it, I only came back when we moved to Qatar in 2014, management sent like 30 storage bins back home because her mother had a storage facility. I sent 2 boxes. That's it. Like I whittle it down to that. But going looking for this DVD, Biff, I found like 3 or 4 sitcom pilots that I completely forgot about. And one of the pilots, I found a DVD of what's called a table read, where you bring all these actors in and you read the pilot, but and just hearing the voices and hearing other voices in real time, you find out the timing and then you do a rewrite. And it is such a crucial step when you do a table read. I forgot that I did a table read for one of these pilots that had Ashton Kutcher, Danny Masterson, and Scott Grimes. Like, they were all my buddies at the time, and it's just insane that on a Saturday I used the writer's room because it had the big round, table with like 12 chairs at Touched by an Angel, because I was working on that. I completely forgot about this. So I will write something. If something happens with it, awesome. Great. But I will have, whether it's a joke, whether it's a sketch. I mean, I haven't posted, 10 sketches that I've shot and wrote because I forgot about them. And I just posted this one. A really good family friend just had a baby, named it Chandler. I forgot that last year I did this sketch where I called it "You're Not Chandler," because everybody thinks they're Jim from The Office. Everybody thinks they're Chandler from Friends. Everybody thinks they're whatever person from Sex in the City. I was corrected on that. And
Yes.
A-N-D or I-N?
A-N-D.
See, I screwed up again. But I did. I did a comparison video where I compared and contrasted the Golden Girls to the ladies from Sex and the City. And I've never posted it. It's not because it wasn't good or funny. It's like I had fun writing it. I had fun shooting it. I'm like, I'll post this at one point. And then something shiny came up, or I did a show flyer that I posted instead. So I do. I prolifically write, whether it's sketches, whether it's monologues.
We're on this thing for way longer than it needs to be.
So hopefully,
let's move to the next one.
I do want to make one correction.
Yes.
What you do, Jacques, is not a sketch. They're called skits. All right. So
if you knew where your nuts were, I would punch them. I would punch you in the nuts if you had any idea where your wife hit them. But no. So Woody is an amazing editor. He's been on a huge project I can mention in 2 weeks from now. But I'm hoping he gets my pilot done. It's just a 3-minute pilot. There's all kinds of logistic problems. There's all kinds of. It didn't go smoothly.
You don't understand when we say we're going to move on.
Well, no. I had to finish off what we were talking about.
We're still talking.
We are still talking about what we originally talked about.
I think that we kind of get the gist of it. It's in development. Why don't we talk about it again when it's done?
Fantastic.
And move on to the next item,
which is wrapping it up.
Consulted at work.
Which is parenting tips, and I'll give my parenting tip first. It's like, you know what? Even at my tender age of 57, I supported my son's endeavors by climbing an 8-foot chain link fence. So, because he wanted to go work out, and I drove him down. And don't let an obstacle like a 8-foot chain link fence in your late 50s keep you from spending time with your children. That is my parenting tip. What do you got, Biff?
I think the biggest thing is just kind of ongoing support of what they do in their life. So I think one of the important things that I've found is that so it's great that my son now has a job that he loves, and so he actually spends a lot of time talking about how the day went. And I think it's having that time where he can essentially tell you about it and talk about it, and we could talk about it with each other. I think that's something that's really important, that we take the time out to those are times that it's that I spent too much of my working life being away, and so now that I don't have to travel as much anymore, this has become kind of I don't want to say it's makeup time, because it's not, but I just want to say I missed all the other ones. I'm not going to miss this.
That's awesome.
Yes. I think I had a parenting tip, but I think it's in the same place my wife hid my balls. So I will say this. When an opportunity comes where you can spend more time with your children, whether they're minors or adult children, take it. For instance, Weird Al Yankovic came to town through Boston, and it was about like about a week away when I had the idea of like, maybe I should probably go see this, with my two boys who are also Weird Al fans, who haven't been to a concert in about, 5, 10 years. About 5 years ago. What? We'll say 5. So yeah, I bought the tickets to see him at the Boston Garden, and it was sold out. It was a good show. It was, it was the same show that I saw with my friend Jim last year, except a couple of extra nuggets here and there. But for all intents and purposes, it was a good experience, and it gave an excuse for my non-sports loving children to actually visit the garden. So, they got to, we sat kind of like, like almost near like the blue line. Oh no, actually more like the red line. I'm trying to like, it's in loge seating, kind of like on the towards the side of the stage. Anyways, it was a good show, and we had a good time, and we took a picture, and then so I'll have that memory. So yeah, that's what I got.
There you go.
Oh, I have to keep talking because there's more to say, because that's it. Thanks for listening to Carnival Personnel Podcast. Biff, always a pleasure. Sorry I missed the last time you and Jacques got together. I didn't get the text, and that's not a joke. I literally didn't get any of the text for the night before saying, hey, do you want a podcast? Until like an hour after you guys podcasted. It was this weird thing with my phone. I don't know. I blame... who do I blame?
I think somebody's monitoring your communications. I think that's what's going on.
It might be. This podcast has been nothing but trouble ever since I started it with Jacques 8 years ago. So, I've been trying to kill it ever since, and he just won't let it die. Will not let it die. But I do enjoy spending, an hour or an hour and a half with you two fine gentlemen. So, yeah, that's all we got for today. So thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for listening, people of Earth. That's right. This is a broadcast to any human who wants to listen. It's I think we just have to give this like a snazzy title, like the top 10 ways to make money in crypto now. AI, like do something, man. Gotta drive up that SEO, that search engine optimization, something that'll draw the earballs of today's youth. They want to hear about AI. They want to hear about crypto. They want to hear about what's another thing kids like nowadays? I don't know, because I'm not with it. I don't even think I used to be with it. I was never with it. Unless it was like, 70s game shows. Like that's what I was with. But so Jacques going to give it a great title. It's going to, you wait and see what Jacques titles this episode. It's really going to drive up the listenership. So that's it. And, well, I guess we'll get together. Is there a side show next week? Who knows? What we need to get back to, Jacques, is the part 2 of game shows on sitcoms. We kind of abandoned that. We did that several months ago. One or two people listened to us talk about 70s and 80s sitcoms that featured the characters going on a real game show or some facsimile thereof. And we stopped at 1979, 1980 with an Angie episode where they go on Family Feud, or they have Family Feud come to Philadelphia where they're based. And it was goofy, let's just say the least. But, we really got to, the 80s was like that's when game shows really ruled the earth. Like, like dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Like this is back when the 80s is when, game shows ruled the earth. And we need to get back to, there's count them, 227 episodes where they go on different game shows. We have to explore that in depth. Forget your Get a Life episode rewatch podcast. That's bullshit. We need to get to the game shows on sitcoms in the 80s. Geez, come on. There's a Cliff Clavin with on Jeopardy. We got I think there's a Golden Girls where she dreams she goes on Jeopardy. There's what else? There's a Give Me a Break. Remember that show with Nell Carter? They go on Wheel of Fortune, which takes them to New York City for that two-parter. I could go on and won't. But let's get back to that. Maybe that'll, if we have, it'll be a filler episode, one of those things where you can't get a really good guest like you always do to talk about comedy and how long it takes to drive from one venue to another. How much gas is expelled? Oh my God. The microfinances of a traveling, comic is what our audience is clamoring for. But of course, listening to me talk about game shows on sitcoms is also not appealing. None of this is listenable, is what I'm saying. I do want to plug. We didn't talk about when Jacques came to visit me last week. We watched the first 2 hours of MTV. Somebody posted that on YouTube because it was the anniversary, the 45th anniversary. Yes, 45th anniversary, August 1st, 1981. So we watched that, and we also watched, and Jacques didn't know about this, John Oliver appeared on episodes of General Hospital because he begged any soap opera to cast him. Once he discovered that Stephen A. Smith for years has been appearing as a recurring character, the character Brick on General Hospital. So he had no idea that I don't think nobody in the non-soap opera world knew that Stephen A. Smith was on General Hospital. So when he found out, he was like, that's bullshit. I should be on those show and I'll act the shit out of that part. So he's not only cast on General Hospital, which already occurred, which you can find clips of on YouTube, but also this coming week, I think, he'll be on Days of Our Lives as a completely different character. So just a little plug there for you John Oliver fans, which I know there are a few out there that listen to our show. So, that'll give you something to watch before the U.S. Open. So, there's a little bit of baseball maybe, then you can watch John Oliver guest on Days of Our Lives and then switch over to the U.S. Open, unless he gets preempted by the U.S. Open. Oh, if his episodes of Days of Our Lives get preempted by the U.S. Open, I'll give them such a pinch. Anyway. All right. Well, that's enough out of me. I got to go. Jacques has to go. And Biff Biff's gone. But Biff left. Oh, shit. He just deserted us. There's actually a spinning chair in his camera. He didn't even bother to turn off his computer. He just ran out the door. So anyways, I will leave you with this. Stitch in time saves 9. And don't forget...
Here she comes again. The whole damn world's pretend. Bye bye blackbird bye, a kidney for an eye. Pepsi's on a tear, we're constant off the air. There's no goggles on. Pepsi's on a tear, coughing off the air. There's no one left to keep her sane. 3 years of mental down the drain. Busy knows she should go, but the hospital said no.